Last week on the POISONRANA Patreon, we were joined by Jesse from the Six to talk all about WCW The Great American Bash 1999 in a brand new episode of Up Yours.
Wait, sorry, Canyon's not even from New Jersey.
Is he not?
Where's he from? Oh, fuck, where's Canyon from? I just read, who's from Jersey? Like, obviously those two are, and it's like, wait, Canyon's...
So, yeah.
Canyon would wear like a New York Rangers hat. Is he from New York?
From Queens!
So Canyon's not from Jersey, Kurt Hennig isn't from Texas, and Harlem Heat aren't from Harlem.
No.
What else have we got here?
Sting isn't really from California.
What?
He moved there as like a teenager, maybe. But yeah.
Right.
It's like from Iowa or some shit.
Oh my god. All I know is the Jersey Triad.
Yeah.
Wow. The pride and joy of New Jersey. Get this show plus NXT retro reviews, wrestling reviews, movie reviews, and so much more over at patreon.com/POISONRANA, and it's only $5, so what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you could never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Up Next. You found us at postwrestling.com or whatever podcast app you found us here on the Post Wrestling feed. And of course,
We are live on youtube.com/postwrestling. Hello, YouTube room. How we doing?
hello, postmarks out there in the universe. It is Tuesday night, which means only one thing. We're going to talk about some NXT. You know why? Because we are your NXT friends.
Friends.
And we'll always be your NXT friends. And boy, we have an NXT to talk about. That's all. That's really all I have about this episode of NXT. We have an NXT to talk about. But we had a big NXT this past weekend with Battleground. So it feels like the old days with a bit of a hangover show.
Weird episode tonight.
Yeah.
I thought newsworthy, but also kind of flat.
Kind of not newsworthy. Cody was there to just say, hey, AJ Styles.
Or like potentially newsworthy.
Yeah.
It was a strange
Had
one.
potential.
Definitely a strange one, especially with the kind of upwards momentum I think NXT have had recently. But we'll be getting into that in a little bit.
And just to get it out of the way, like no Joe Hendry. He's been promoting somewhat online that there's whispers about maybe he would return. There was a little bit of a
maybe he got arrested in the airport on the way to.
No, that was
no,
that was someone else. We'll talk about that in a few seconds. But yeah, coming off the show Battleground from this Sunday at the UFC Apex. Obviously, check out our review if you haven't already here on the Post feed. We went live on Sunday and we had a fun time chatting about Underground and some big matches, NXT-TNA, and it seems NXT-TNA is going to kind of continue with the prohibited portal that may open yet again, as Cody Rhodes alludes to later on. We'll discuss this, but yeah, maybe more crossovers and different things. Didn't go and end the show in quite the direction we thought, but yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, how's it going?
It's going well. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it was only 2 days ago since we did this, but I guess there are some things we haven't talked about yet because we obviously skipped our POISONRANA show this weekend because of
Battleground.
What was it? Battleground. That's the one. But yeah, we're on the road to Clash at the Castle, taking place this Saturday in Glasgow, Paul.
Not Glasgow.
Not Glasgow.
Glasgow.
In Scotland. Yeah, that's taking place this weekend. We will probably be checking out episode 2 of Who Killed WCW after we finish this, but we enjoyed watching that last week.
Yes, we definitely did. So what? There's 2 more after this week's.
I think it's 4 parts. I think
okay,
in total. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, it's a story we've heard by the same kinds of people, but the way the dark side of the ring, the Vice people put things together, I'm a really big fan of. So I found it as a pretty enjoyable watch.
They produce good documentaries, and I think something that I think Vice have found is I know so many people who watch Dark Side, who watch it and kind of bring it up to me because they know I'm a wrestling fan. In a weird way, it's like Total Divas used to be. You'd have like friends and girlfriends and women and whatever being like, oh yeah, you like wrestling, like the Bellas, and it's kind of that crossover. So I think people are learning about all these people through these Vice docs like Dark Side. And yes, we've seen a whole lot on the death of WCW and the Monday Night Wars and all that kind of stuff. But these are good filmmakers like making it. So I enjoyed episode 1. Didn't particularly learn anything new.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if as the episodes go on, we do learn nuggets of new stuff. But I still like the way it was presented and thought it was a really enjoyable watch.
I didn't know some of the stuff about Eric Bischoff and kind of how he got his foot in the door and all that stuff and his kind of beginnings. And I thought that was quite interesting. But as always, I loved Kevin Nash making me laugh talking about Oz.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was hilarious. So I'm definitely going to be checking out the rest of it. And in honor of that,
you're the whole country of Oz.
Yeah, you're the nation. You're the actual place. That's Oz. Yeah. I loved it, and it inspired us to do a retro WCW review. And we picked one of Jesse from the Six, our friend. You may know him over at some of the stuff on Post Wrestling as well. But friend of the show, he picked Great American Bash 1999, which I had no idea some considered a real fucking stinker of a show. Boy. And we watched the whole thing and had some great laughs talking about it. So
I mean, there's a whole documentary going into like what and who killed WCW, but you say like, and apparently some people say this is stinker. I feel it's one of those things, grab a corkboard and throw a dart and land on a WCW pay-per-view, and it's probably going to be a fucking stinker.
It probably sucked. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of watching this, doing this review, I'll say in a few weeks, I think by the time this whole Who Killed WCW thing ends, I think we're going to do another WCW review.
Yes.
Down the line. I think we'll have Jesse join us and look at the full last episode of Nitro. I think we're going to do in a few weeks. So not yet, but we'll look forward to that as well. Because this documentary is not just us, but I think it's getting people talking about it again, and maybe people are going back and rewatching. There was good stuff in WCW too, but the doc definitely highlights some of the bad stuff, which is. I mean,
I think this episode almost was more focusing on the build up. It was focusing on the rise of WCW and how Bischoff like pulled it out of the ashes or whatever.
Right.
And we're ready now for the big decline in the next episode. I think they're going into Brett and Goldberg in this one. I've seen on Twitter the clips.
Yes,
of
I try to avoid it.
I've not watched them.
I've tried to avoid it. Yeah,
I'm sure we'll be watching that. But yeah, last week we watched part 1 and we're like, kind of in the mood for some more docs, and end up just watching the Dancing with the Devil,
the Netflix TikTok one.
Which then I've been going down like a rabbit hole after like of this whole this whole TikTok cult.
I had no idea about. Yeah, we watched that randomly because after watching the first episode of WCW, we put that on. It was said #1 on Netflix. I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I ended up watching the whole thing. So there's a cult with TikTok dancers and all sorts of weird things. Like, where do I sign up? Like, sounds great. They live in nice houses. They're rich. Some of the other stuff doesn't sound so nice, but yeah, great doc and pretty creepy and spooky, but love any recommendations for true crime and all that kind of stuff. I know some people watch Dark Side, but there is the dark side of comedy, and I have checked out some of the Robin Williams one and the Phil Hartman one, which really like was eye-opening and it's dark, weird stuff, but it's, there's a reason we all love watching this kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely love doc recommendations.
But yes, a whole lot coming to our Patreon. We are Poison Rana. We host the upNXT show every week on Post Wrestling, but we do have our own feed. So go and subscribe to Poison Rana, because we put out a bunch of free shit every week. Free shit? Yeah, free shit every week. We just released our latest episode of Eagles Don't Hunt Flies with Martin Bushby, Brandon from New Jersey, and Dickie Bird. And you can even watch that on our YouTube channel. Watch how many times Brandon forgets he's live on camera.
Yes.
But they just reviewed, 12 rounds 3 Lockdown. This is a podcast specifically dedicated to the life and career of Jonathan Good, Jon Moxley, and in this case, Dean Ambrose in a WWE-produced film. And I'm about halfway through this, and Dickie really doesn't like this.
Technically, when it comes to Eagles Don't Hunt Flies, we're their bosses when it comes to the podcast. They have to make sure that everything goes through us to put it on our feed. I don't know how it would work, but one day I will make them review Cage Fighter, also starring Dean Ambrose, which looks maybe even worse.
It's got Christian in it as well.
That sounds, it could be better than Lockdown then. And it's got a bunch of UFC. I watched the new Roadhouse this week, and it was quite interesting. I wouldn't say it was not entertaining, but if you're into seeing, I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I have a soft spot for him. But if you love seeing healed up Conor McGregor just playing himself really in this movie, it's definitely a movie for you. It's all UFC and stuff related. And I'm a big fan of the OG Roadhouse with Terry Funk. This one doesn't have the same charm, but I still kind of like got into it.
Conor fucking McGregor in it.
Yeah. Conor, it's a different, like they take this similar story and then kind of like, so Conor's just like one of the big baddies in it essentially. But I still thought it was pretty fun, and they kind of look like they're going to make more of them. But I need Jake Gyllenhaal to make good movies again.
Oh, he's a great actor.
Like Nightcrawler was so good, and then I feel like he's been doing these kinds of movies for a while where I'm like, yo, get back up there. But yeah, I watched that. Maybe we'll review that one day, but not anytime soon. We have a lot of shows.
Yes, also coming out on the free feed this week while we're talking free shows. We're going to hit you with two things. First, we're going to re-release something we recorded a couple of months ago, our Poison profile on the Von Erichs.
Yes.
As now it's available for everyone to watch on all these streaming services.
Yeah, talking about movies watching over the weekend. For anyone who maybe has finally checked out the Iron Claw, I noticed it's available on like HBO Max and Crave here in Canada, and probably all the other streaming services and yada yada. So I noticed that a lot of people are kind of just checking the movie out now, and I thought I'd be a little nice and drop our Poison profile for free later this week. Again, search Poison Rana in your podcast feed, follow the socials at Poison Rana Pod. I'll upload it. It's a great piece to go along. If you just watched the Iron Claw or you're planning on watching the Claw, watch it, because we give thoughts on the whole movie, the whole career and life and everything of the whole Von Erich family. We also discussed the Dark Side episode as well. It's a great podcast that we were really proud of, and now we're going to give it to you for free just because of the whole hype of the Iron Claw, which I kind of want to rewatch too, because I really love that movie. I really enjoyed it. And really need to rewatch the Ric Flair guy in it one more time. But yeah, so follow the socials, because that will be dropping for free. And on top of that, we will also be releasing a brand new episode of What Up, Doe with John Cena and B Detroit. They just finished recording this a couple of hours ago and will be uploaded tomorrow. Hear all their thoughts on everything from pop culture, hip hop, I know wrestling. Yeah, I know. I think they've been seeing some new movies. I know Cena talks about Mad Max. They also discuss Bad Boys and how they made a Bad Boys 4, but Bad Boys 3 was called Bad Boys for Life. So kind of shot himself in the foot there. But they talk about that. I think B gives his final thoughts on the Young Bucks sneakers that have come out. I guess he won't be giving thoughts on the canceled Roman Reigns Jordans. Unfortunately, they canceled it. Why? I don't know. Everyone was clowning WWE, AEW, because it's like, look, you guys got Reebok, but like Roman's got like, and he's got Jordans, and apparently no one's going to be. Because he dropped the title. I guess they're like the bloodline shoes, not really that popular now. So yeah, maybe one day it could be like if one was made, it could be a very rare item. but I don't know if that was the case. But yes, check out What Up Doe for free, also on the Poison Rana feed. So lots and lots of podcasts.
And then coming up, we've got a bunch of stuff coming up on the Patreon. So get your feedback in. We are actually banking a bunch of shows. My mum's going to be in town.
Yeah.
So we'll be busy kind of doing touristy stuff around the city, and the Euros are on. So we'll be watching that. So not much time to podcast. So we're going to bank it all this week. We're going to have a new episode of Was Next, talking about the April 3rd,
Yes.
2014 edition of NXT.
Corey Graves versus Sami Zayn, Emma versus Sasha, and Brodus Clay attacks and beats on Xavier Woods because he stole his theme song. What a great time in 2014 NXT. Also, we will be looking at an episode of Family Matters featuring the Bushwhackers. Yes, the Psycho Twins episode of Family Matters, as selected as B Detroit. He is very excited that we talk about this show. So again, follow all the schedules and the posts on our socials and everything, because we'll be pushing out lots of podcasts for your entertainment.
Yes, best match ever matches that took place in Europe.
Yeah,
We've got the match list up on the Patreon, and we'll put it on the Facebook as well, along with links. So give them a watch. We'll be recording that this Friday. Get your thoughts in for that as well.
Yeah, I mean, so big Europe wrestling summer, because not only we got All In, we got Clash at the Castle, we got Bash in Berlin. So we compiled this list. Well, you have put together this crazy list of all these matches that have taken place, whether it's WWE, New Japan, AEW, kind of outside the box as well. And all the links there for everyone to kind of watch along and stuff. So again, follow for all the stuff that we have coming out, because lots and lots of shows, and we love doing it. We love doing it. Before NXT, I do have a few news things we should talk about. One, Mr. Rick O'Shea has been murdered by Braun Breaker, and he's gone from WWE? Question mark. I guess it's not a question mark.
Yeah, I mean, the way they kind of quote unquote wrote him off is, I mean, there's still potential. It does seem like he's leaving and going to AEW. As of we know so far, no contracts have been signed.
Right.
So there's always the chance to kind of go back if he's offered something crazy good. But yeah, great. I love what they've been doing with Braun Breaker. I got to admit, on Raw, I think they've been presenting him so well. I loved his match with Ilya. I thought that was great. And then this write-off angle, just absolutely murdering him on this car. I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah, they did we just saw the clip of it on the WCW doc, but the Kevin Nash, Rey Mysterio spot where he throws him against the, I mean, that was a crazy bump. He falls onto the
It was like
ground.
concrete as well.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they're doing something like this, use someone's exit as a way to make Braun this incredible heel, rather than just next week on Raw, Samantha Irvin's looking lost, and I'm not allowed to mention his name, but things have been happening. Sam doesn't have that same kind of tune in her voice this week.
Right.
Oh, well, she's missing someone.
No, that's the old NXT way.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was so horrible. I think, look, you're paying these guys. Why not capitalize off something in a TV drama? If someone wants out of the show, you write them off in a spectacular way, don't you?
Or you kill them.
Exactly. That's what I mean. You kill them off, or you have them move to a different, in EastEnders. They always go up north.
Who's leaving, Corey? Yeah, they better kill her ass off.
EastEnders, it's always a thing. It's a running joke. They either go up north or to Australia. Yeah. It's always one, or they die.
Right.
So
you said someone's leaving Coronation Street though after 40 years.
Gail.
Yeah. Sorry, I meant Corey,
After
but at Coronation
50 years,
Street.
yeah.
So they're gonna murder her ass.
Oh,
she's
I'm
fried.
gonna have to start watching again.
Train going through her house.
I woke up to texts from my mum being like, "David, I got to tell you, Gail Platt is leaving Coronation Street," and it was like, "Excuse me."
But now, WWE's taking the TNA route now. They're just murdering every time.
I think it's
murder
great.
you,
and I think it makes Braun look awesome. Ospreay v Ricochet at Wembley, and then Rampage.
Yeah, it would be cool if he were to be one of the guys in New Japan. New Japan is a company that's so lacking.
It needs guys.
Ziggler wasn't the answer to whatever they thought was going on. Evil isn't the answer. Mox, you know, they're really trying with that, but it's such a cold, dead product. And not saying Ricochet would make things a lot better, but he could easily jump there, literally jump, and actually like double moon there and be like the top guy. But obviously you go to WWE and you want to see some of those big marquee matches that, you know, the fans there would like. So it's interesting. I'd figure in today's age, like in 2024, that wrestlers would still want to like jump from WWE. You know, he could go away for 3 years and come back to WWE and be a bigger star.
It's like normally these contracts are around 3 years, right? And he's still at an age where he could go for 3 years. He could come back. He could elevate his stock. I will say, I think something, and if you've listened to us for a while, you know, like I'm not the biggest Ricochet fan. Mainly, his wrestling's great, but I think that style's got very popular, where it's not as spectacular as it once was for me. And I don't think his promo or acting game were ever up to scratch. I do think he's improved in that. I actually think this latest feud with Bron Breakker and stuff, he's been getting more stuff out. And maybe it's because he knows there's a bit of a finish line there with him in WWE, and there's something else on the horizon, and it's given him a little bit more oomph or whatever. But I do think he's been coming across better. And, you know, an AEW has a way looser scripted kind of environment. We'll see how he does. Maybe he'll thrive. And he's still at an age for sure where he could go back as a bigger deal. And, you know, so I think for him, possibly it's the right move. If I was a Chad Gable, I wouldn't be going anywhere.
Yeah.
I think he's like at the best point he's ever been in his career right now. And I think they're putting a lot behind him.
I checked out some of Raw. I kind of skimmed through it. Shout out Ilya and Bron Breakker killing it as always. Then Ricochet getting murdered. So great to see the NXT talent shining on the main roster, because Bron is just going to be one of the biggest things. We've been saying that for a while. But the Gable backstage things, he's in the background talking to the Creeds, talking to Ivy. Clearly they're going to go that route with a new Team America, Team Gable coming soon, hopefully, which is something also we've wanted. So he's going to trim the fat of his, pardon the pun there, Otis and Tozawa and Maxine, and then get a whole new crew who could be potential killers. As long as Brutus Creed stops reviewing Cheez-Its on his social media, then they'll all be okay. But
just to go back to Ricochet, RYN in the chat has said Ricochet running New Japan for a year or two would be dope. And you kind of mentioned that as well. Maybe that's more of the move. Like, rather than being an AEW talent who works New Japan, be a New Japan's talent who works AEW. Yeah. You know, Forbidden Door is right around the corner. What's a better time to...
He can't show up there, can he?
Yeah, as soon as his contract's done, he can go.
Okay.
It's not a release.
Interesting.
His contract's over. So if his contract ended today, he could be on Dynamite tomorrow.
Okay.
But I think they sorely need like fresh people at the top of the card who are stars. And I think he could be that. And and you can always do the sort of, you know, the rematch from years ago with Ospreay.
Of course.
As a New Japan versus AEW guy. Like, I think they should throw a lot of money at him and try and get him. And he's got the history there as well. Yeah,
I love his wrestling, and think back the Ospreay Ricochet match that happened in New Japan with all the flips and got the wrestling world divided, and then ESPN sharing it, like, made him a household name. And when they threw the offer to both Ricochet and Will Ospreay around that time, Ricochet took it. And maybe now he's like, if I didn't, maybe I would have all this like acclaim, like outside of WWE. I'm sure his bank account isn't hurting from being in the Fed all these years, but he's kind of seeing, maybe I could go continue wrestling. So selfishly, as a fan, you want to see some great matches, and AEW New Japan is probably where we'll get those if that's the case. So we'll see. But I feel bad. His girl's just going to be ring announcing and
do you work the same job as your girlfriend?
No, but you know.
Do your parents, did they work the same job?
But if my girlfriend was on the road with WWE wrestlers, definitely wouldn't.
You don't trust your girlfriend?
I don't know if I like.
You don't trust your
No,
girlfriend?
but the history.
I'm talking to her about this.
No, the history of wrestling and people on the road and relationships. It's
just be, if you're loyal, if you love each other and you're loyal, like, you can overcome temptation.
This is fair.
Yeah,
this is true.
Look at Dom.
he overcame temptation.
He did.
Another little.
I actually fell asleep towards the end of the Raw. So
Another.
I don't know if he went to the hotel.
Oh no, Finn just ever so slightly. You ever done one of those where you got the hotel? Someone gives you the hotel key, but then someone else slides it. Right. So it looked like Finn. Okay. I don't know if Carlito showed up. It could have been a whole party in that hotel, for what we know. But yeah, hopefully we do see some good matches from Ricochet coming forward. And then some other things. Sexyy Red, the host of NXT Battleground that we just saw on Sunday night. I saw today on TMZ that they reported that Sexyy Red was in a big brawl, a fight right before Battleground. This was like during the day before she got on a flight.
I'm shocked. She looks like such a sweet, innocent girl. I was shocked and appalled by this behavior.
I kind of loved it. This was like real attitude era here. She's got at one point, I couldn't tell, there's a video of this, and it looked like she at one point grabs like a metal pole or something.
Those velvet rope divider things, right?
Yeah.
Picking that up.
She was like swinging that around, and that could really hurt someone. So that was pretty crazy. So yeah, just wrestling is back, because then she got on a flight to Vegas, hosted NXT Battleground, and then twerked with Shawn Michaels.
What a day.
Yeah, just great. Good stuff. So Sexyy Red, maybe we'll see her again soon in the ring, because she can fight. And then the last one I saw, this was a sad story to definitely change gears here, but did you see the stuff from Alba Fire?
Yeah,
really sad situation here. All the thoughts and good vibes to Kaylee Ray, Alba Fire. This story came out, I think, in May, where her parents were coming to visit her in Florida, and I believe her mom and her dad got someone hit them in a car, and her mom actually now has passed away, and she was posting this on social media, and it's very, very sad. Someone who had moved to the United States, her parents come to visit, and then that just such a sad accident. So all the love to Alba Fire, man. I could only imagine how she's doing, but yeah, pretty sad.
Yeah, very sad. And especially, she's going to be in the biggest match of her career as well.
I know. That's why I brought it up. It's like
in her home country, it's like, any time is awful, but you just, you've got to think sort of, obviously that's something like those big moments are things you want to share with your loved ones and your parents and stuff. So just awful. So thoughts go out with her. I do have a couple of more things just to bring up before NXT.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it is really Forbidden Door prohibited portal season. It was announced that at Marigold's next event that Iyo Sky will be showing up to take on Utami Hayashishita.
Wow.
Which is pretty big. Like, this isn't just a NXT talent, or it's not even, in the past we've seen it with Hideo Hitami / Kenta or Nakamura, who's on a higher level, but still are times where WWE aren't doing much with them. Iyo was just your women's champion at WrestleMania. She's still got a pretty prominent story and focus on Raw. And they're letting her go and have this match. So clearly these are the signs now we're really seeing this partnership come together. But also just, that match sounds great. From what I've seen from Hayashishita from her time in Stardom, she's pretty fantastic. We know what Io's capable of as well. So that's really exciting stuff. Yeah,
also announced for that card is Julia versus Saray, where I forget where her WWE...
Saray in WWE and Sari, I believe. Yeah.
So kind of crossing over there. I mean, Iyo outside of WWE was so amazing. I'd encourage anyone to go through our back catalog. We did a best match ever of Iyo Shirai from her time before, and Kairi. And if you've never seen some of her matches outside of WWE, it's a whole different ball game. And I'm very excited to watch this, because those are two big matches on that show. So maybe this is sort of how we integrate different talents, and Triple H is allowing these talents to do these other shows, not just your TNAs, but will we see Saray back in Sailor Moon gimmick back in NXT? Will we see Julia crossover? She didn't show up tonight on NXT, and she might not show up, but I guess if she's wrestling on July 13th, although that's after Heatwave, isn't it?
Yeah.
So maybe that's her.
I think she'll be at Heatwave.
Maybe, possibly, but yeah, that's pretty big news. I love Iyo Sky. She's one of my favorites. Iyo Sky still gets me high, and I'm definitely going to check out those matches.
More matches have been announced for Forbidden Door, but maybe we can run that down at a later date and
Forbidden Door,
get to some NXT, because we're still a few weeks away for that. But they've got, I think, 7 matches announced for that card now.
Nice. They'll add like another 7.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's shaping up nicely. And you know what? Some of it does look interesting. Zack Sabre Jr., Orange Cassidy, that's the one that has my interest.
Absolutely.
And I think Zack Sabre is one of those people that New Japan have lost a lot of talent, but he's one of those like aces up the sleeve where him versus so many people, you're like, oh, that sounds like an interesting match. And I think Orange Cassidy is one of AEW's people like that as well. So that match that we saw the 4-way last year with them involved, which was pretty great. So, and
they have history.
Exactly. So
they have history before, like people dug up the tweets where this match is years in the making for such a big stage. So definitely that is the match for me now for that pay-per-view. He's like obviously Swerve and Ospreay, but I still don't think we're getting like, I think something screwy is happening there. But my interest levels is okay for Forbidden Door. Obviously not
better than it was.
Yeah, it's better than it was, but not as big as maybe the last 2 years.
And finally, Draw Straws Raw in the YouTube chat says, Davie, your shirt is sick. Thank you. Well, Braden, where can you get this shirt?
You can get this pink Poison Rana shirt at chop-tees.com/PoisonRana. Check it out. Free shipping. The prices included everything you see there, and you get these things pretty damn quickly. Shout out Chop Tees and Dickie Bird. We also got shorts and button-ups that match. Yes, you can have the whole Froggy fit this summer. We've already put our orders in. Get ready for the photo shoots coming. You'll see on the socials for sure. But we're going to be rocking Froggy style all summer this summer. And for anybody out there, the postmarks, there's also Post Wrestling matching shorts and shirts as well. Dickie is a madman to come up with some of this stuff. But matching shorts and button-up shirts with the frogs on it, or with the little postmark P on it. It's a great vibe. What a time that we have all these merch. You can get your own frog snapbacks and t-shirts, and we're always adding new stuff as well. But it comes very quickly, and shipping is included in the price you see. And man, I can't say enough good things because it's just been awesome having the like freedom with some of the merch that we put out, because it's not just like a t-shirt. It's like there's like button-ups and shorts and hats and all sorts of crazy stuff.
You ain't finding this stuff at other wrestling merchandise stores.
It's awesome.
You know,
and Dickie's roped in like the whole post guys. He's got WrestleNomics. He's got Lapsed Fan in there. Like he's got a whole like squad lined up, and it's just awesome. So check out the site, chop-tees.com. Anything you buy from the Poison Rana store, it goes right to us. It's how you can support your small-time favorite podcasters here in the 6th. And speaking of the 6th, what are you doing on the 6th in the 6th? Because I hope to see some people out there rocking some of our fresh merch, because we're throwing a party. We're throwing a huge time at the Cash-In here in Toronto at Yuk Yuk's, July 6th, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us, because we're going to be putting on some wrestling comedy, some wrestling improv games. You just wait till we have what's cooking. But also now announced, the post-wrestling media panel. We got John Pollock, Wei Ting, being joined by Benno from Grapple, Steph, Chase, Digital Spy, and all sorts of wrestling coverage online. And of course, a man who needs no introduction. Vince McMahon hates this man. His name is Brandon Thurston from WrestleNomics. He will also be on the panel, and this is going to be a banger. These guys are going to chat everything going on about wrestling. They'll take questions from the crowd. In fact, we got a few tweets today saying they wish this was live or something. If you want to send in your questions, we'll try to figure some way out, but they'll be taking questions and talking about everything. And you know I love to ask John Pollock, hey, what's your favorite match?
Yes. What would your finishing move be? But yeah, this is great. I don't think these guys have ever done a show all together, which would be awesome. We're very lucky to have Benno making the trip over, so he's going to be here for like a rare live show.
Absolutely.
With those guys. So you know, and most of you all listen to Post as well. You know how fantastic John and our favorite white podcaster Wei Ting is. They're gonna kill it, but then we're gonna have some fun after. We're gonna really pack this event. We've got the place until 6 o'clock, and we're gonna be maybe crowning an interim champion since the BDE champ will not be there. Fire Frank.
He's pulling a Roman Reigns.
Yeah, so we're going to have an interim champion that day. But we're going to play a little thing called You Came Up With Today. Whose ring is it anyway?
Yes.
If you're a fan of the show, whose line is it anyway? And if you never heard of it, YouTube it. They're all there. We're going to be playing a bunch of improv games, but pro wrestling related. We are in a comedy bar, so we want to kind of keep it in theme to the bar.
Yeah.
And we've got so many fun games up our sleeve.
Yeah. Will we force WH Park to play comedy improv? Will Benno play comedy improv? Will some of our guests play? Will John Cena show up? Who knows what could happen at Yuk Yuk's? You know, this stage has held a lot of famous comedians on it, and we're so lucky to share the same stage as Tom Green once did many, many times. I know Way is very excited about that. We're proud about that. So yes, 6 in the 6th, the cash in July 6th here in Toronto. It's going to be a fun time with Post Wrestling, POISONRANA. Get your tickets now at postwrestling.com/live because it's going to be a fun time. I do think we will be recording the audio when we release it. That it will be seen some other time, but yes, can't wait for that. It's going to be a fun summer because not only that, we got the cash in, which leads into Money in the Bank here at the Scotiabank, just down the road from us. And then the 7th is Heatwave NXT. So there's a lot going on. I know there's GCW on the Friday. There's SmackDown. There's going to be all sorts of different wrestling. I think the Northern Crown is doing a show. There's so much. Wow. So if you're making a trip down to Toronto, definitely check us out because we would love to see every one of you, our listeners, our community. We are so proud of. So can't wait.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's time to get into some NXT because this is up next. So let's do it. NXT from June 11th, 2024. And we're back in the PC. Oh, how I've missed the PC.
Oh, leave the Apex alone. Come on.
Like not a crane in sight. Not a
guy on his phone.
Not a security guy on his phone. Just right in the middle throughout. It just back how I like things. Booker T booking TGIFs on his phone. That's what I like in my NXT.
No, I like the guy who passed out last week from Jaida. Remember the guy? Oh, I think he was in the crowd again tonight.
Not a guy telling this crowd how to chant.
Yeah.
The PC know how to chant because we're in Florida. Well, we open things up with Kalani Jordan, the brand new and first Women's North American Champion, coming out. On her name graphic, it says she was a gymnast at Michigan State University, a 2022 Nashville tryout signee, and the first ever Women's North American Champion. She thanks the fans and says, "This is a surreal moment to me." She says she's won so many championships in gymnastics, but nothing compares to being the first ever North American champion. And she said, when she climbed up and grabbed the title, it's a moment she'll remember for the rest of her life. But because she's the first champion, it means there's no history or lineage to uphold, and that it's her responsibility to set that. And she wants to prove day in, day out that no one can do it like Lani. And that's when Jaida Parker interrupts and says, the only thing you proved is that you can scurry up the ladder like a squirrel. And when I handle Michin tonight, all you're going to hear is, and the new North American. And Michin attacks her, which leads to her first match. But first of all, how did you think of Kalani's promo?
Yeah, very happy for her winning this title. Like, she's been here for 2 years, basically been really focused in the last year, and now got some gold around her waist, and she's really improved. And I think this is one of her first promos like out in front of the crowd. That's just her, because I think she's done a lot of these taped backstage things and multi-women segments, but just herself being out there like is probably nerve-wracking as much as climbing a ladder the other day. So good for her, and kudos to her because she's really stepped up. She's really young. She's really promising. Like, Kalani could be a big project for them, and obviously giving her this title, they see something in her here, and I think there's a lot to prove, and she's a big RVD fan. So
yes, yeah, I think it's hard for a baby face at times to just not be bland,
right,
and boring, and I think you've got to find something that makes you interesting. I think she's very lucky that she just has a very natural likability to her, both in ring and just her general presence. But I thought there were times, I think the whole thing with Dana, where she was just playing a bit goody two shoes, nicey, and
you mean Ash by Elegance?
Yeah, and no Dana back then, but yeah, but was a little bland, and I think she really came into her own in that the sit down thing last week before, where all the women in this ladder match were kind of stating their claim, and I thought she tapped into something, and I thought she maintained that today. It just sounds a bit more focused and determined, and you know, she's got the Lani thing.
It's funny because
Lani did it, and that's working for her. So she's coming across a little less bland now. I think it's coming together. I
don't want to go back to comparing wrestlers and their partners, but Carmelo Hayes always calls himself Mello, and now Kalani Jordan's calling herself Lani. It did work, but I'm just clicking in that he also does that kind of thing as well. So I actually think she has something, and she could definitely be even bigger deal down the line. But yeah, I'm pretty happy for her. I think we were still kind of like, oh, it wasn't Fallon Henley and it wasn't Sol Ruca, but you could easily go to
Rocks as a heel right now. Yeah, you want some sort of more the workhorse title thing right now.
Also here, when she had mentioned Jaida Parker, Vic Joseph said, "Say her name and she appears," which was the only reference to Joe Hendry today on the show. So I do believe he is coming. Okay. We're getting a little seeds here, but clap for Joe Hendry.
So we go to Michin versus Jaida Parker, which has kind of been unofficially made a bit of a number one contenders match
for the
Kalani's
title.
There's a Pele kick from Michin, a bunch of counters, which leads to a big German suplex from Michin. She then goes for a cannonball in the corner, but Parker gets out the way and gets on the attack. She drapes Michin across the second rope, hitting her springboard butt attack. And then after the break, there's a series of kicks and a drop kick from Michin. And then a bit of a sloppy-looking tornado DDT, kind of the kick off the rope. And then Jaida comes back with a hip attack, sending Michin to the outside. And that's when Anderson and Gallows come out. Jaida Parker then grabs a steel chair, but Anderson grabs it off of her, causing Michin to roll her up for the 3. So Michin kind of somewhat stealing the win, although Jaida was about to cheat there, but with the roll up with the Good Brothers kind of distracting a little.
So I hate Jaida Parker's finisher, the hip attack. However, the one she hit near the end of the match, it looked pretty dangerous in a good way. But then I was a little confused because she's supposed to be the heel, and she basically came out to interrupt Kalani, saying I'm a heel. But then Michin has the Good Brothers come out to help her. So I'm just a little like, who's actually? But she was cheating.
I think Michin's playing this thing at the moment where she's a babyface, but all her friends have turned heel, but she's not necessarily quite seeing it.
Right.
Yet. So like her win was somewhat from their help, although Jaida was going to try and cheat. And we get to it a bit more later, but I see there being maybe, I think it would be good for Michin. She's been a babyface her entire, ignore retribution, but her entire WWE career. And I think a bit of an attitude change would work for her.
And then, I mean, it possibly leading to the OC and Michin versus OTM and Jaida, right?
I guess so.
Yeah. So
I thought this match was a little slow motion and sloppy at times. There were good moves from both, but didn't quite click for me.
Yeah.
I think that's always been a thing with Michin as well. I like her, but she's always been a little rough around the edges, I find. And in there against Jaida, who's really not as experienced, I didn't think it was great.
Yeah, it wasn't my highlight of the show, but and confusing if you want Jaida was the one that came out to cut the promo. So eventually we will go to that match no matter what, but I guess Michin kind of healing it up versus Kalani, I guess. Yeah.
So we go backstage where we see Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, and they're cutting a promo on Gallus. They've been announced as Wesley's tag partner for later tonight. And Tyler says, "You attacked my mate, so we're going to take you out." And Pete goes, "Yeah, you think you're tough? Prove it. Gallus boys on top? Shut up."
I missed Mean Pete.
Yeah.
Good old bruiserweight.
Love it. We cut then to Chase U arguing, and Riley's going, "Come on, is there one thing Rich has done that's been good since joining Chase U?"
He had a point.
Riley, come on.
Riley, wait, let him cook.
So they're all arguing, and Thea Hale storms in and says, "Everyone shut the fuck up and sit down." And they're like, "Whoa." And says, "Look, Ridge here is an outsider. Riley, you were an outsider to chase you once, and we took you in." And Andre Chase then goes, "Oh, I wonder where she learned that from," as she's like just swearing up a storm. And he goes, "Oh, you can shut up as well. You were going to gamble the university away. In fact, you did gamble the university away, but we took you back. And Duke, everyone thought you were going to stab Chase in the back, but you didn't. Look, we chase you, and we give people second chances." So kind of saying, come on, shape up. We want to give Ridge, the fridge.
Like she definitely bringing up the Duke thing, that they're kind of breaking that fourth wall of like, hey, we all thought you were going to just join us to turn on you. Like for those keeping score, Duke is still not turned on. We're still holding out for that turn. We kind of gave up on it when we're like, nah, he's just chase you now, and he doesn't really have any.
Now the tag champs will probably no.
And now we're kind of thinking the same thing, like, oh, is Ridge coming in or Riley? I think it should be. I think this is still planting the seeds for Riley to leave.
Yeah,
and kind of cut corners with these guys, like cut them out and be all mean. Just give them a nice leather jacket. Yeah, he'll be a bad boy, Danny Zuko type, and leaving the school behind. A dropout, Riley.
We go to Gallus taking on Wesley, Tyler Bate, and Pete Dunne. Tyler hits this big airplane spin to Mark Coffey. Wolfgang then comes in with this big crossbody, taking out Bate. Bate hits his rebound lariat, goes to the tag, but Joe Coffey then takes him out and does this nice, really quick, big back body drop to Bate. But Bate lands on his feet, finally gets the tag to Wesley, who comes in with his DDT to Joe for a 2 count. Pete comes in and snaps Mark's fingers.
Oh, you know what he did?
He broke the fingers.
I loved Vic's call here. He's like, oh, look, Pete breaking his fingers. Mark Coffey won't be able to hold a pint later tonight. Oh, poor guy.
There's a bop and bang from Bate, and then a moonsault to the outside from Dunne, followed by a suicide senton, like the flipping suicide dive from Bate. Meteora from Wes to Joe. Wes then goes up top, and he's kind of weighing up his options. Do I go for Joe or take everyone out on the outside? So he takes everyone out on the outside, comes back into the ring, but gets hit by all the best for the bells from Joe. And Joe Coffey pins Wesley for the win.
Yes, an upset here on NXT, but great finish. The clothesline can look good when someone sells it, like Wes flipping inside out here and taking the pin. So Gallus 3-on-1 on Sunday, beating down on Wes. We all assume we're going to get some friends. He found that, what do these guys call them? Banana Republic? New
Catch Republic.
The Jedi's Republic, something. The New Catch Republic. And then where are the other guys on this show? The No Quarter Catch Crew.
No Quarter Catch Crew Republic.
Yeah. So I thought it's great that you kind of bring these two guys in, and actually like looking at Wes wrestle with all these guys, you're like, he fits in, if not like even crazier in some of the moves he does. So Wes is just ready for like a big push and program. I assume he's like NXT champ by the end of this year. However, this is great because it still has to be foreshadowing the Rascals coming in to NXT. And I think that is going to be great. So I'd still put money on having Heatwave be Gallus versus the Rascals. Yeah. And I think that could be an awesome match, let alone Heatwave could also have other TNA people on it. It could be a Heatwave Worlds Collide for all we know at this point in time. But, you know, Gallus people definitely love to give them shit. Never forget, they train The Rock.
Yes. I thought this was the best match of the night. All these guys know each other really well. Obviously, Bate and Dunne have fought Gallus in all their NXT UK days and prior to that. So they know each other well. But also Wes was teaming with Tyler Bate not long before his injury. Yeah. So they know how to work together as well. So I thought this was really fun. And you could just see they know how to work with each other. It was so quick, this match. Just
some crazy sequences.
There was no downtime at all between all of them. I thought it was really fun. But I'm with you. I think Gallus versus the Rascals at Heatwave makes sense. I feel the whole show is probably going to be NXT Forbidden Door, essentially.
Yeah, prohibited portal.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope, though, Mark Coffey did drink his pint okay tonight.
I don't really care. We see Jaida Parker backstage with OTM. She says, Michin beating Jaida Parker. Make it make sense. And OTM are like, oh, look, we should have been there and blah, blah, blah. She says, nah, I can take this by myself and run her ass out of NXT. So Jaida and Michin still feuding.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of strange considering Michin won the match and therefore is probably facing Kalani. But I do imagine it's OTM Jaida.
I imagine Jaida costs
the club
Michin the match.
What is it?
Week.
Original club? OC?
The original club, yes.
Sounds like a nice sandwich.
The original club sandwich, yeah, I guess so. No mayo, though, for me. We see Brinley Reece with Malik and Idris. She's stretching backstage. And
this was impressive. She's cutting a promo. She's talking, I guess, to them. And mid-conversation, she, like, puts her arms on each of their shoulders, then, like, lifts herself up. So they're holding her up. And then she starts doing, like, squats in midair. Like, it was pretty funny.
That was, I hate the, like, overacting stretching, though. Just stretch.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's like, no, just.
Also,
just stretch.
They tell you when you're going to be alive. So, like, do your stretching before so that you're ready.
But she's, they're like, oh, how do you feel about your match against Wendy Choo? She goes, oh, I'm really looking forward to it. Wendy is a sweetheart and we're going to have a great match. And tells her, oh, you should come out with me for it. So we then get a bit of a video package for Sol Ruka, who's excited to go back to Vegas. And she shows getting her gear made for the show. And it was, extra sequins and stuff to make it extra Vegas-y.
Yeah. Was this her, like, making her own gear? Like, it looked like she was, like, taking part in, like, putting it together. And she's got, like, it to make it look like it was beach shorts and stuff like that. So pretty cool.
And she said, look, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do this again after my injury. I really had to learn how to walk and then how to run and then get to come back for a match. So she's super emotional about it. And she's bummed that she didn't win, but excited to work her way up that ladder in the NXT women's locker room.
Yeah, I love Sol Ruka. Again, now that she didn't win that match, it's kind of like, what do we do with her? I think she could face Roxanne down the line, but as of right now, maybe put her in a program with someone. But, like, I don't necessarily say she's, like, ready for main roster, but just wait until, like, she starts doing those soul snatchers on the main roster. She'll be completely over with the audience and the fans and everything. So definitely still one to watch. And you know what? Like, it's better doing it like this, where it showed, I'm assuming these were all, like, her actual social media posts from over the weekend. And they kind of condense it all. And it's not just showing, like, hey, look at me, I'm going to bed. It's like they made an actual little thing out of it. So it was less annoying.
From a sports point of view as well, it made sense. Because, look, if you were, like, an athlete and you had a serious injury and you came back from it, of course you want to win. But if you're like, hey, look, I made the semifinals of this tournament and I didn't even think I was going to walk a year ago. Right. So, like, I'm proud of myself for that. Yeah. Like, it makes sense rather than just, I hate when you see baby faces who, oh, well, I didn't win. Well, shucks. It made sense on a sports point of view where she was like, yeah, like, I'm still not 100% yet, but I'm getting there. And I was pleased to have, I was proud to even get that moment.
Yeah. So I hope I hope she's still, like, featured and propped in a good position where, like, she's in the wings if, Roxanne needs a challenger, and maybe not the heat wave, but down the line.
We go to Brinley Reece versus Wendy Choo.
Here we go.
And Wendy Choo's old music, like the alarm clock going off and all the sweet music starts. And then it changes. Oh. She takes off her mask and she's in, like, dead ragdoll makeup.
Evil Wendy Choo. It's not sleepy Wendy Choo. It's spooky Wendy Choo.
Now, instead of a white and pink and blue fluffy pillow, it's black. And she's evil because she tilts her head to the side.
Oh, I thought it's because she had the, like, evil face paint.
All of
like
it.
Jack and Sally face paint.
All of it. Evil.
Oh, okay. Yeah, complete, like, character change here. So Sleepy Wendy Choo, for those keeping score, she was this character that was sleepy. And she would hit people with her pillow. She would wear her onesie. Now she's looking a bit more evil, ragdoll, Raggedy Ann. You get the big comfy couch in the UK growing up. You know what that is?
Right.
I forget. Luna. My brain is accessing old memories. Luna from the big comfy couch. Someone out there knows what I'm talking about. She's definitely tapping into that kind of vibe here. But it's very strange. I didn't like the music. I didn't necessarily like that we went from having Wendy Choo before the sleepy gimmick in the like what Mei Ying evil demon gimmick.
Yeah.
And now they've literally put both gimmicks in the like compactor and put them both together. So now we have sleepy, spooky Wendy Choo. And like first impression, I think she's a great wrestler and a great talent. I'm not a big fan of this. It was pretty like, oh, you've instantly like dropped down.
Yeah. My thoughts are, look, I think we have I think it's lazy now in wrestling to be spooky.
Yeah.
What's your gimmick? I'm spooky.
Scary.
Do magic and I wear black and I think it's quite lazy. But I will say, before it fell off the rails, that moment when we were at SummerSlam and saw The Fiend come out, was incredible.
Yeah.
But they built that for months. They built that with these Firefly Funhouse vignettes, and you had like snapshots of what The Fiend's going to look like, and you weren't sure how it was going to work. And then you saw it in person, and it was tremendous. It was such a great moment. And I feel this has been like, we saw all the classic Wendy Choo vignettes, and then the last one just had a flash of her in this makeup. Like, why? Like, what is the reason behind
she's not a morning person,
Wendy Choo becoming this? And I think you could have thought a bit more creatively with this of, you know, having Wendy Choo talking, maybe like if you want to like having her have nightmares of her as Mei Ying or something like that, where she remembers this thing from her past. Do something to make it make sense. Whereas it just feels, we probably can't have you as a sleepy girl anymore. Do you want to do spooky?
Woke Wendy Choo.
So like, I just feel it came across lazy to me.
Yeah, and I think she's a good talent. So
we've
seen her before WWE as well, and it's just kind of like you've been given,
and even the mannerisms, gimmicks. Like just the head tilt, like we see every spooky woman, like Alexa Bliss would do this, the bunny would do this, and it's just okay. I didn't think there was. Maybe we'll get it in coming weeks, but I think this is, you know, and I think more back to like the 80s and 90s, they build up a character through vignettes for so long. So you get really excited to seeing them again. And yeah, I didn't think this was a good job.
Yeah, like what is this character? Like she fell asleep. Like her theme, I guess, is trying to be like the remix of her like sleepy song kind of thing. Mm. It's like, is she a sleep paralysis demon? Is she like
if you're gonna go goofy with this shit, go full goofy.
Yeah.
Like have
nightmares,
the lore behind it or whatever.
Have her like go to sleep. It's the opposite of Freddy Krueger. Like when she goes to sleep is when she then wakes up.
Yeah,
like the evil. It sounds stupid.
Some shit to come up.
They didn't explain anything. It's just like, hey, Wendy Choo's coming back, and also she woke like up now.
What was it? Bea Priestley. Blair Davenport took her out, right?
Right.
Have vignettes of, you know, ever since I've been on that morphine in the hospital, I've just been having weird dreams.
No, hold on.
And then flashes of her, you know, vaping in people's faces as Mei Ying.
Right.
And like stuff happening.
Metal in your lungs.
Yeah, just all this shit.
Wait, no, the way you could have brought her back is Blair is having nightmares, like Freddy Krueger style, right? So she's like, oh, I keep having these dreams about Wendy Choo. Like she's chasing me. And then one day she comes up and she's spooky and attacks Blair. But we didn't do that.
Well, Blair's moved on.
Has she?
She's on a little Raw.
Oh.
Or SmackDown. Or
really?
One of the other shows.
You're lying.
But no, you could totally do that with one of the other characters you've got. You know, you have this, we see it every week, the like jobber locker room, right? The people who haven't quite got a character yet, and we haven't been like Carly Bright and those kind of characters.
Yeah,
exactly. Do the Nightmare on Elm Street. I had this weird dream,
and then like the other,
I had that.
Yeah, I had it too. Wait, Wendy's in your dreams, and Wendy like comes.
Exactly. You know, there's
better shit. Wendy's coming for you.
I picked up this spooky onesie.
I'm a doll now.
I'm a doll.
Yeah. Sorry, Wendy Choo. We do love you, but we just want the best for you. And this, I don't see this working. Fortunately, there's still the match to talk about.
Let's get to the match. Yeah. So she attacks Brinley right away, hits her with a Fez press, and is just like pursuing her. She gets hit in the face by Brinley, and Wendy just no-sells it, delivers a headbutt and a flatliner for a 2, like a running short flat.
Sister Abigail.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, spooky.
Brinley then fights back with a scoop slam, and then, which looked pretty nice, this hammerlock clothesline from Wendy, and then locks in almost like the Cobra Clutch, like the money clip, but with the legs grapevine round as well.
Okay, so the one positive, she's finally using a sleeper.
And Brinley's fading and taps out.
So wait, are you fading or are you tapping out?
It was a bit of both, wasn't it? I guess she tapped before she went to sleep.
See, she should have put people to sleep, and then the next week Brinley's like, "Oh, I'm having these dreams because I went put to sleep by the sleeper." That should just be her name, the sleeper. That's right.
Sleeper.
Yeah. Like she showed that she actually wrestles. Hell, Brinley Reece, from what we've seen, she can take these moves and sell them and stuff. But I couldn't get over trying to grasp what character they were trying to show me here, and I couldn't figure it out.
And I will say, I actually, I hated when Okada introduced the money clip. It didn't look very good. I actually thought she locked this in, and it looked pretty tight. And
yeah, the
looked like
is
it's
great.
Putting you to sleep.
She's fine.
So, yeah. I thought her hammerlock clothesline looked good. I think she's good. Just it's week 1. We'll give it time, but I wasn't a fan of the debut of this character.
Yeah.
We then get a bit of a replay of Oro Mensah beating up Ethan Page after NXT Battleground.
This guy just loves, they're fighting around the world today. They're fighting all over the place.
Yeah.
So he attacked him after NXT went off the air last week, and then he attacked him before Battleground, and then also apparently he attacked him after the title match at Battleground. So Oro Mensah's looking for a fight. This was the only real reference to Ethan Page and Trick. Even later on, when Ethan Page is shown on camera, they don't mention really much.
Yeah, let's, I guess, talk about it now then. Terrible follow-up with Page.
Yeah, really went from 100 to 0.
Like, yeah, I mean, he could win this battle royal that they're going to announce in a bit. But, yeah, I feel you've bought this guy in as this hot, signy, like free agent.
Yeah.
He loses his debut match. You need to follow up big for him to, get his heat back in a way. And just seeing him backstage later in the night in his nice shirt, looking happy to be there with the AEW lads.
AEW Dark.
It was like, I thought it was weak. And I think that kind of thing can be damaging to someone. Sure, he could get it back next week, but he needed to come out pissed and just squash someone, eat someone alive, and cut a promo because he's great.
He should have started the show if you're thinking it like he's still going to be positioned.
Ref screwed me.
Yeah, they didn't even really
I'm
mention
still number 1 contender as far as I'm concerned.
Really bad follow-up.
Just squash someone in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like ego's edge, get on the mic.
And be mad.
And you'd be like, cool, okay, he's still a threat. Whereas him just didn't seem fucked.
He seemed happy, actually. He seemed all right.
Yeah, he seemed like he was having a great time.
Big follow-up. Again, like little things, but little things add a lot. Yeah. And that was definitely something I noticed over the show. There was really no mention. Just like, hey, Oro Mensah just really likes fighting this guy. Cool, but like, wouldn't he be mad that he lost? I don't know. So that was I'd say an L from this week's episode, is how they kind of treated this big signee that already feels just like another guy now. Yeah. So, and we love Ethan Page, but it's like, oh, okay. So hopefully, maybe he still is the pick to win next week, as we'll get into. But
so we then see Roxanne Perez, who approaches Byron Saxton, or gets interviewed by Byron Saxton, rather.
No one approaches.
No,
Byron
I was going to say, I'm like, that's weird. Why did I write that in my notes? Maybe approached by Byron. And she's like, all right, what do you want? I've got stuff I need to do. And Byron goes, well, you're delivering the State of the Women's Division address tonight. What are you going to talk about? And she's like, well, I'm going to talk. You'll find out then.
Yeah.
And that's when Robert Stone comes in and is like, look, Ava just really wants to know what you're going to say. She goes, well, Ava made me wait before I found out my opponent for Battleground. I found out at the same time as all of you. So you're all going to find out together at the same time.
Yeah.
Just like that. And then Cody comes out. Cody Rhodes.
Yes. I don't know if you've heard this, but Cody Rhodes sent this video message in to Soft Ground Wrestling in Uganda.
Yeah, I did see this.
And he got them a ring.
What happened to the money Will Ospreay sent?
Hold on a
To
second.
be built a ring.
This can only lead to the real Forbidden Door, prohibited portal. Cody Rhodes, Will Ospreay in Uganda.
In Uganda.
Book it.
Yeah.
Book it. Yeah. The money from Will Ospreay just disappeared. No. They probably were putting it towards a ring. But Cody was like, "You need more? I got you."
Ospreay sent it to the wrong PayPal by accident, didn't he?
Yeah.
Fuck, it's Gmail. I thought it was Hotmail.
Yeah, you got scammed. Someone's like, "Hey, you need the roofs done." So yeah, I do remember Ospreay saying he sent them some money. I think a bunch of other wrestlers and podcasts and all sorts of stuff. I love these guys in Uganda. Check them out on social media. But yeah, Cody sent them this video and real WWE World Champ shit here, kind of buying a ring for these guys. So great stuff, and maybe we'll see him in Uganda. But here, Cody Rhodes is on NXT. 9 years ago, we lost Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
9 years ago. Crazy. Rip to a real one, the American dream. And, you know, he was a big part of NXT, obviously, with the whole stuff. So he's always allowed back.
Yes.
This is NXT is Cody's territory.
He should inherit it.
Yeah,
really,
he's pretty much like, hey, like, you know, one day he'll run it.
Yes.
Mark my words. But
Punk.
yeah.
He comes out and says, "There's magic right here in NXT, and I needed to be here and feel it before I go to Scotland to defend my title against AJ Styles." Cody then lists off all of AJ's accolades and says, but there's one thing he can add to that list, and that is in Scotland, the referee, all of them, and everyone is going to hear him say, "I quit."
You know, bad move, Cody. If you watch wrestling, you should know that before your I quit match, don't record yourself saying I quit, or potentially your opponent could play it on a voice recorder and cost you the match.
It's true.
If you know your history. I thought it was interesting, Cody bringing up IWGP title as well here. They're really just letting people say and do anything.
Trick Williams then comes out and praises Cody and says, "Look, last time we had a chat, we were on the other side of the mountain, and now we're here as the champions, and now we've become the hunted. People are attacking us. And Codes, how do you deal with this?" And Cody says, "Well, yeah, as you said, all your peers will start thinking that they can wear this title better than you. And one thing to keep in mind, champ, is even though we've conquered certain mountains, there's always another mountain you can climb." As he's like, "Yeah, all right, you've got that title, but I've got the big title."
I mean, both guys dressed like world champions.
Fantastic.
We always know these two are up in the style game when it comes to wrestlers. I don't know who had the better shoes, but I know that Trick was rocking some Trick James boots here, ready to fuck someone's couch up, ready to go to the 2001 Odyssey, because he was like the whole shiny outfit and then the white boots. But I thought they both looked like world champions. I like this little exchange. At first, though, before you get to the next part, I thought for a second Cody's big Magic NXT appearance was just to be like, "Yo, fuck AJ Styles," because that's pretty much what he came out to say before he got interrupted.
It's like maybe his flight is from Orlando to Scotland, so he's like, "Oh, I'll just stop by. But one more thing, fuck you, AJ.
I'm here in NXT because fuck you, AJ Styles."
But Cody says he came out here to let him know who the next challenger is, and it's going to be decided next week in a 25-man over-the-top battle royal. And he says, "You might know some of them, but some of them might be from different locker rooms."
Whoa.
So good luck, champ. And then Trick says, "Hey, Cody, before you go, July 4th, just around the corner, on behalf of all my people, on behalf of all the people, we all want to know, are you coming to the cookout?" And everyone's chanting, "Yes, yes." And Cody's like, oh, shall I? And Cody says, "Yes, I am coming to the cookout."
So, yes, Trick says you're invited. He invites Cody to the cookout. So, July 1st, Cody's going to the cookout.
July 4th.
July 4th. Sorry, I'm Canadian.
Yes.
Get them confused.
Yeah.
The real party.
So, I imagine they'll do Great American Bash on that day.
I guess. I believe it's a Tuesday, actually. No, it's not at all. It's a Friday.
Oh. Right?
No, wait, because the 6th is a Saturday.
6th is the Saturday.
So Thursday.
Thursday. So I guess maybe on the 2nd, but that's the go.
But then
show.
Heat Wave. So
all right.
Either way, Cody Rhodes is
Cookout.
invited to the cookout.
Yes, 25-man battle royal, including who I assume TNA talents as well. Any other locker rooms?
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so winner of the 25-man battle royal gets the title shot at Heat Wave in Toronto. So we obviously were assuming because of the outcome with Ethan Page, Ethan being from Hamilton, Toronto adjacent, would make sense for the big spot in Toronto. After kind of how he was treated on this episode, I don't necessarily think that might be the case. However, Cody mentioning other locker rooms, you would think TNA. I'm assuming a Joe Hendry appearance in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. Who else does TNA have to kind of, who would be your guy? I know you're not like the most caught up on TNA lately, but
I mean, Josh Alexander.
Yeah.
You know, especially being in Canada.
100%.
In Toronto. Like,
I think we discussed it on Sunday. It should be him.
Yeah. Like he's someone I'd like to see. Him versus Trick isn't necessarily the match. I like Trick. Don't get me wrong. But when I think of some of the other wrestlers in NXT right now, he's not necessarily who I want to go.
He's awesome though.
Like whether they do champion v champion as well, do Moose. Perhaps.
See, I don't really have any interest in that. I'm not big on Moose. I'm not big on some of the TNA guys that they've had like forever, the same kind of characters that they've just been like harvesting there.
But I see it being those two or Ethan Page again.
Okay, Ethan Page. We could also have SmackDown, Raw people, right?
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
There's that. I don't necessarily see like anything kind of outside of that, but that, you know, there's a few people that you could go in there. I don't think it would be too off to say it would be Ethan Page again, but again, after the way he was, it's kind of just like, forgot about him.
Anyone from Noah?
Noam Dar?
No, Noah.
Oh, Kona Reeves?
Is he in Noah?
Oh, wait. Oh, you mean Noah? Fuck it. Put Kona Reeves in this shit, bro.
We'll have Noam Dar, Kanoa, and someone from Noah.
Fuck yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Who should be Trick's opponent for? I'd kind of be cool if it was Josh Alexander and Ethan Page like helps him win, but then I'd be kind of wouldn't be something they would do.
Or even Josh throwing out Ethan to win it.
Yeah,
like
something like
set
that.
someone up there as well.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't
North.
know.
Who
But,
do you want to see?
Yeah,
Trick
I'm not
face?
entirely sure. I wouldn't be overly surprised if it's just Ethan Page again.
RYN in the chat brings up a point. I noticed Carmelo Hayes was watching NXT tonight, and when that segment aired, he tweeted out saying like, "Oh, any locker room, huh?" So I don't think he would step
really
down.
want to see
yeah,
that match
yeah,
again.
we don't want to see that again, unfortunately. But RYN also brings up Speedball. Yes, another big Canadian.
Speedball. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
But again, it's like I'd rather Speedball than Wes or something like that.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
You know,
Yeah,
although
absolutely.
Wes is probably doing rascal shit.
Yeah.
Yes, we then get an interview with Dante Chen ahead of his Singapore Cane match. And he says he's going to tattoo Lexis King with Singapore Cane shots and he'll end this rivalry on his terms. I thought he sounded all right here.
Yeah, I like Dante.
We then go to the women's jobber locker room, who are all celebrating Kalani Jordan's win, when Carly Bright says hi to Wendy Choo and says, "Oh, I'm so happy to meet you. I've been watching your stuff for a long time." And Wendy turns around and looks all spooky, and all the women are scared. Oh no, she's wearing ragdoll makeup.
Oh no, she's so scary. Yeah, this is again where it's like the character is just walking around acting scary. It's not the most interesting.
We then see a shot of the WWE 2024 Next in Line class with a few of them in the front row.
Shawn Michaels did it again.
Yeah.
He's after those hot up and coming stars of colleges, universities.
I guess so.
Finding those young talents who could be future WWE champions or future AEW Dark superstars.
Yeah. We go to our Singapore Cane match, Lexis King versus Dante Chen. As Lexis is making his entrance, Dante attacks him. The smoke is still billowing everywhere, and Dante's attacking him.
It was looking
with a Singapore Cane.
Yeah, it was looking like my room for a second there with all this smoke, and he just comes out swinging with the Singapore Canes. Remember, Dante Chen, the first Singaporean superstar ever in WWE in a Singapore Cane match.
They're both walloping each other with cane shots. And then Lexis just launches one right at his head, like throwing it, which looked great. And then followed with a super kick. Lexis then choking Dante with the stick, with the cane.
The stick.
It's a stick. Dante monkey flicks Lexis out of the ring using the cane and then follows up with a suicide dive, like holding the cane long ways to just jab him in the face.
That was pretty impressive, flying with it and kind of hitting him as he goes with it.
He's whacking him some more when Lexis uses another cane for a low blow and then picks up his scepter. Booker T was making sure we know that's his scepter.
Yeah, Vic's like, yeah, he's got his stick, his cane, and Book's like, I know what that is.
It's a scepter. And hits him in the gut with it and then uses it, like wraps it around the neck and hits the coronation for the win.
The Coronation Street for the win. Dante is pretty good, and he took some of these crazy shots. I mean, both of them were hitting each other with these sticks, but I'd say Dante got the more like bruises and welts on his body. But that stick, I guess, is technically a cane too, so does it count? The ref was really
okay. So
I've
always thought, in the past when we've had chairs matches and things like that, anything else should be illegal, right? In my mind.
So
you have one weapon, and you can use that weapon. How he used the cane for the low blow, so that's okay. Yeah, but I feel any other weapon should be illegal in my
so
opinion.
Him using
otherwise I use just a better weapon, or anything's legal. I'll grab a sledgehammer and crack him in the fucking head with it.
So the ref should have been on this to be like, whoa, that's not
that isn't a.
But then Lexis could be like, well, I bought this cane in Singapore. He better say that in his promo next week. Okay. Yeah. He better say that in his promo next week. Like, hey, you used that cane. Yeah. Made in Singapore. A little sticker on it.
I mean, this was just a whole lot of whacking each other, but I thought both didn't hold back with it, which I liked. But
I mean, Dante lost this. I'm assuming this feud is over, but in reality, like Dante, hopefully we see better stuff. We're going to see better stuff from Dante than we're going to see from the King.
This is more of a fun match for Lexis King, but still not a whole lot.
Liked his tights though. Oh, and his facial hair, like, oh my God, it's insane.
JC, Jane, and Jasmine Nix come out of a room, and they're like in the kitchen area of the PC. And there's a kitchen in the PC.
They're cooking. Guys. How do you think Shawn cooks up?
And Cody bumps into them and says, just the person I wanted to see. And hands his dashing Cody Rhodes mask to JC. And JC's looking at it, and Jasmine goes, dashing. Do you think Jasmine Nix was watching WWE in 2007?
Yeah, I think maybe JC was. I don't know Jasmine necessarily, but
because she knew, she was like, dashing.
Cool moment here, actually, considering we've been calling JC Jane dashing for a few weeks now, and it makes the most sense that Cody was here dropping little things. Nice. Because
she better wear this because she shows up later, not in this.
Oh, I thought she was wearing it later.
She was in her regular one.
No, I'm pretty sure she had it over the other one.
What?
I'm pretty sure she was wearing two. You can never be two. Double bag it. She was being well prepared and safe.
So in 2010, apparently.
That's when this was. Do you remember that? He was like what? He's all about his face, and he would teach us how to wax and how to bathe and how to like pluck his nose hairs, and then his face got broken, and then he wore the mask.
Would have been Jasmine would have been like 10.
Wow. Okay.
11.
Now, you're putting it into perspective now.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. She still could have.
She could have
watched, but
who knows?
She's like, sorry, I already have one. What is this?
We get the Eddy Thorpe vignette going on about fire and healing again.
He loves fire.
And then we see Michin and the Good Brothers, and Michin goes, next time Jaida wants to bring a weapon into a match, she knows what's coming. She says, I'm now the number one contender for Kalani's championship, and I don't need to worry about anyone else, any OTM, whatever, and I'll be able to do it all on my own. The HBIC is back.
Had Bate in charge.
Yeah. But we spoke about her.
Yeah.
I feel she's going to turn heels.
Yeah.
We cut, and Booker is just pissed about something. And he's like going, get him out of here.
Yeah, Vic and Booker, the camera doesn't show, but they're yelling at someone. It's almost like someone in the crowd jumped them. Right away, I assumed it was Brooks Jensen. They never really throw or say that it was him throughout the rest of the episode. I could be mistaken, but I was trying to listen for it. They never really brought it up, but he then put a video out afterward, basically yelling like, you don't want me here or stuff like that.
And then like fan footage has come out of him jumping the rail and yelling at people and stuff.
Yeah, the scapegoat type thing. So Brooks Jensen still going with this angle. I think it's the best thing. I think we will see him in TNA sooner rather than later. I know he did pop up at some indie show this past weekend. I saw on his social media as well. So he's doing that kind of outsiders, insiders angle, but good for him. We want to see more from him. Send him to Noah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We go to our next match. Tavion Heights taking on Eddy Thorpe. Eddy Thorpe's returning match. I think it's his first since NXT Underground.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a big crossbody and kitchen sink from Eddy. And then both keep running the ropes pretty fast, and Heights catches him with a huge belly-to-belly overhead suplex and then locks in a dragon sleeper. Eddy starts to fight back with some strikes and a German suplex of his own, and then hits his leaping like elbow splash to the grounded Tavion Heights, and then the like elevated DDT for the win.
The Impaler. Essentially,
the Impaler DDT,
or to some, the Code of Silence. Shout out Big Vito.
Okay,
the guy who.
What did Bobby Roode call it?
Oh yeah, what
Same
was
as
his?
that.
The Glorious DDT.
Yeah,
he wasn't. He really didn't think hard
DDT.
on that one. Yeah. So this was supposed to be the big return for Eddy Thorpe, who's been telling us about the fire and everything. But I'll be the one to say it. Heights was the one to watch from this match. Eddy Thorpe, his return is. I feel the same way I felt about him the last few times we've seen him wrestle. Going back to that Underground match, it was Dijak, right? That match was awesome. But his other matches, he's been pretty boring in the ring. He doesn't do any moves that are necessarily visually appealing when you have guys in the next match doing like triple flips and even just anything really. And Tavion Heights, we've seen just little sprinkles of. And I remember it was in the Classic or the breakout tournament. And he was doing these crazy suplexes. And we were like, whoa, where's this guy been? And we haven't seen him in so long. So for me, this guy was the real like highlight reel of this match. It's like him doing all these moves, and then Eddy Thorpe just wins with this DDT. And it was kind of like, and it's funny because we thought that watching it, and then it cuts to someone watching them being like, oh, that guy's pretty good. It's like, yeah, he was way more impressive than Thorpe.
Yeah, I feel Thorpe has had 2 matches in NXT where I've been impressed. He's not bad, but I think it's like you get 2 different types of wrestler. Okay, you got like your Ricochets who are spectacular in ring, maybe on the blander side outside the ring. And then you got your LA Knights who are kind of the other way around, who can like their natural charisma and stuff. They can get by with not having to do the flashiest of shit in their matches. If you have both, that's spectacular. That's fantastic.
Yeah, you're 100.
If you've got neither, like you're okay. There's been no point where he's cut a promo that even when his tree got whipped by a leather belt.
Yeah.
There's been no point I've really got into any promo about him, or, even his entrance, even at least some people, Bobby Roode had a song you could sing along with. There's not really anything that I forget about this guy as soon as he's off the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's got to be something. He's had time away. He's come back in the looking the same as before.
He's got
real.
I think he's got more like the face paint. Again, he's going
now,
for the Native American face paint. But
go more with that then, or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just he comes across very bland.
Yeah,
and I don't see really what his ceiling is.
Again, this whole thing for the past few weeks is, hey, I'm coming back. And I totally love and appreciate him saying the thing that, bringing up Chief Jay Strongbow and all, and the history and people like me and all that kind of stuff. But then, sorry, when it comes bell to bell, it's like, you just didn't do really that much. And here I am wanting to see more of Tavion Heights. And I'm kind of happy it went to the next segment where we go on to Catch Crew watching, right? The lads, they're watching the show. Yeah. They're watching them backstage and they're like, hey.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was doing a segue.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, I got distracted by a tweet. Yes. So we cut to Charlie Dempsey with the No Quarter Catch Crew.
The NQCC.
Yes. And Dempsey's like, that Heights kid is pretty impressive.
Got some heights.
And tells Bourne, go get him and bring him here. And Bourne's like, do you mean like take him out? And he's like, go get him. Go get him. And starts clapping. And then Kemp cracks a joke and is like, I don't know why you think we need more people here. And Dempsey's like, hey, man, you lost last week. Shut the fuck up. And says
Capiche.
once again, go get Heights and bring him here. Capiche. So maybe we'll have him join No Quarter Catch crew, but maybe also Dempsey teasing, booting Kemp out the group, potentially.
I mean, look, this Tavion Heights guy, I don't know a lot, but anytime he's been on a screen, I actually remembered who he was like from before.
Yeah.
I knew his wrestling was good. And I know our friend Brandon from New Jersey is a big fan of the like real wrestling graps. I remember when we first talked about him, he had said that like this guy is legit. You see it the way he suplexes people, right? So him joining this crew of wrestlers in this wrestling dojo dudes, no catch crew thing, it makes the most sense. So I'd actually think that will work out for him.
Dempsey tapping into this almost like evil supervillain
Robert De Niro thing. I don't know what he's in.
It's weird, but it's bringing a bit more out of him. So I'm not fully against it.
Yeah.
It's a little mustache twirling.
That's what I mean. It's like he's really trying it on, but we'll see.
It's pretty funny though.
And they don't have. He's the new Drew Gulak. He's just being like
so.
mean to his students,
touching people's drawstrings. We go to Ava and Robert Stone, where Stevie Turner interrupts and says that she overheard Rox is planning on calling Ava out for an apology tonight. And Ava's like, we'll see about that. Oh, I've got a very important phone call I've got to take.
Clear the room. Give me the room.
Give me the room.
Get the
fuck
fuck
off,
outta
Stevie.
here.
I've got a very important.
Yeah.
Ring.
Give me anyone. I'll wait. Yeah, she's not the nice. She's done this before. Oh, Sexyy Red's calling. I got to talk to her. What? You need me to get you out of jail?
I miss the days of Kurt Angle as general manager, just his confused phone accent.
Yeah, I think I brought it up I think when she mentioned the Sexyy Red thing last week, was it last week when she's like, hold on, Sexyy Red's on the phone. And it reminded me of like, they're coming.
It's that one. And it's when Braun breaks the production, Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Tips the production truck. And
he's got the walkie-talkie.
Oh my God, no, that thing costs $500,000.
They're coming, incoming. Send backup now. It reminds me of like any movie trailer with someone with a walkie-talkie or a phone. Like, we need another shipment. It's coming. Like anytime this, it's just good. But why is Ava just telling people to get out of here? I'm on the phone.
I always find it funny when people say that. It's like, how about you just leave the room? Why are you telling everyone else to leave?
Yeah.
Just leave. You leave.
To be fair, it's like her office, her place of business. However, while on the subject, I just hate when people talk on the phone in public.
Me too.
Like anywhere you are, whether you're at a store, at a restaurant, like why just like stop?
It's weird because
it could be a text.
I think it's maybe a generational thing though, because like I still remember when you'd have phones just like attached to the wall on a cord and whatever. So your mum, like grown up, and people wouldn't text then, would just be on the phone all the time.
Yeah.
And you just had to listen to it.
Yeah.
I get a phone call when I leave the room.
Of course.
And my mum, why are you being so private? What are you hiding? Who are you talking to? I'm like, no, I think it's rude that I've got 3 people in here and they've got to listen to half a conversation. I'll just excuse myself. What were you hiding?
Yeah. The other day, someone, I was with some friends and someone decided to answer the phone, but then was talking really loud on the phone while like interrupting the rest of the conversation. So I was like, yo, like,
fuck off,
like go to the other room. And like, oh yeah, sorry, I can't really hear you. Yeah, sorry. And I was like, yeah, go finish. So then I just start talking to them. I start interacting with the phone call. Like, I don't know who you're on the phone with, but it must be important. Can I talk to them too? Like, what's going on?
Put it on loudspeaker.
Can't stand it. If I'm in like it's definitely like if I'm in public and people are on the phone and like bumping into people and stuff, it's like, I don't know, maybe I talk
like quieter.
Yeah.
Like if I have to take a call and I'm on like public transit or whatever,
I
talk more at this level. I'm like, oh right, okay, yeah,
right.
No, oh yeah, Sheila, you wouldn't believe what fucking happened today at work. No, oh what an asshole. And Like, go away.
Yeah.
Shut up.
So maybe Ava is a baby face here for like, hey guys, this is going to be a loud conversation. You probably want to get out of here.
So TNA, I guess. We go to our next match. Javon Evans taking on Shawn Spears. We get some big chops from Javon immediately. He had some good chops on him. These sounded good.
Yeah, bigger than the reaction Shawn Spears got during his entrance.
We come back from break, and Spears has locked in a half Boston Crab. Javon gets the ropes, and the referee's counting, and Spears says, I've got till 5. And Spears now delivers some chops of his own. There's this nice spinning heel kick and a proto bomb from Javon Evans.
Very nice.
Then Evans is on the apron and gets hit with a super kick from Spears, and then delivers a big top rope draping DDT.
Randy Orton style.
Yeah, for a 2 count. Sets up for the C4, but this gets countered, and Javon hits his big top rope cutter. He gets bouncy, but Spears rolls to the outside, so Javon can't go for the pin, but gets hit with a tope suicida from Evans, and then a somersault senton off the barricade, kind of clocking him in the face with his foot here.
Almost missing him, but yeah.
Then goes for a springboard to the outside, but Spears moves and he goes crashing against the announce table.
Oh.
Spears rolls him into the ring and hits him with the C4 for the win.
Yeah, it cut to his face afterwards. Javon looked like he was bleeding a whole lot. I wonder if whether it was from that table spot or whatnot. But yeah, kind of strange for Shawn Spears. Vic Joseph on commentary is bigging up like this is the biggest chance, the biggest opportunity this guy's got since being here in NXT. And it made me think, like, didn't he face the champion Ilya like in his like second or first match?
Yeah, there were 2 things he said. Yeah, like during the match, this is Javon's like biggest opportunity so far.
Yeah,
which you're right. He faced Ilya,
champion.
He faced Ilya.
He also had Sexyy Red as his valet last week, which is pretty big.
The second thing was he said this is the biggest victory since Shawn Spears' return. His biggest victory is against a 19-year-old, 20-year-old lad with about 10 matches under his belt.
Yeah, it was a bit odd.
The vet coming back.
Yeah.
The match was all right, actually. The crowd got into it. I think we've seen Javon be a little bit more spectacular. I keep using that word today, spectacular. But yeah,
he is
a bit more like impressive.
Bouncy.
A bit more bouncy, I guess. Yeah. But I thought this was fine. But Javon can afford the loss because he's young, and that's kind of the story they're telling.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing with Spears or where you're going.
You already said it last week or whenever we did, but the learning chair. That's
Yeah.
exactly what they're doing with him. It's just, I'm going to take people under my wing and try to teach them. So he's going to cut promos, I'm sure, next week saying how he showed him, and now you should
Do you
join
think
me.
he'll still try and get him back in?
I
Because
think
he's like, look,
yeah.
I tried to offer you advice and you didn't take it, and now
You spit in my face. I just don't care about anything Shawn Spears is doing here. Really, it's very bizarre. He's mixed in his entrance videos got like him talking and the evil like, oh, I fucking love chairs, and like I don't know. It's just not for me at all.
his Titantron legit says, I fucking love chairs.
It would be way more interesting if it was. I don't know. The more older I get, the more I hate like stupid, spooky shit in wrestling. Not that his is spooky, but his intro
It's
is
still speaking in like, I mean, his whole videos before he came back were like House of
evil,
Black, weren't they?
3 faces,
Yeah.
and instead it's 3 chairs in my living room. I just like don't get it with this guy.
Do you think Peyton Royce ever comes home and is like, for fuck's sake, Shawn, you bought another chair?
Reminds me of Knocked Up when they do shrooms and there's 5 different chairs in this hotel room. Yeah, Shawn Spears just loves chairs, but he should team with Lexis King because he loves chairs too. He comes out on the like chair.
I guess so. Yeah.
He's got a nicer chair than that. Would be the next silly gimmick. I know they're just going to continue with this feud. I guess it seems. I guess Javon will get his win back, but I just don't care about the chairman.
We see Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne going through pictures and videos of Axiom and Nathan Fraser partying in Vegas.
Did you see any of this
I
on their
didn't,
social
no.
media? Okay, I thought this was pretty funny. The best Fraser and Axiom have come across yet. I swear to you. So they were posting on Sunday night. They're like gallivanting around Vegas, and they were drinking, or at least acting like they were drunk. To me, it looked like they were having a good time in Vegas, and they were taking like videos and documenting their evening and stuff. And at one point, the video I saw where Fraser's like, yo, like, this guy left me. Like, I'm out. He's like walking by like the fountain or something. He's like, we promised we'd bring the titles out, and now I'm just walking around with this title.
So he had both.
No, it looks like he's just walking around. So this random people are like, what the fuck? It's like not WrestleMania weekend, and some guy is just walking around with title. And then finally, like, he finds him, and then I think he put on an Axiom mask, so he was Fraxium or something. Right. It was ridiculous. So here he's selling that he's hungover. He's like, please, I don't want to celebrate anymore. And Pete and Tyler are like, come on, celebrate. You're still champs. He's like, I've partied too much.
It's funny. I served a table today, and the girl's like, oh, I don't think I'm going to have a beer. And the guy's like, why? Well, I went out on Saturday. So, well, I've got a wedding on Sunday. It's like, it's Tuesday. She's like, okay, I'll have a blue moon.
Those hangovers hit once you hit 30. So I thought this was pretty funny. The fact that you finally got something out of them that's not just like reading lines and stuff. It felt a bit more organic,
a bit more natural.
RYN in the chat says Frazier should just wear the mask, like match Axiom, because in these videos he had one on. But hate those masks.
We then have Tony D and the family come in laughing, and they're like, it's the Party Boys, which they should go with that as their name.
Party Boy. Bring in Chris.
Party Boys.
Jackass.
It says, you didn't know you had it in you to be like that. And Tony says, you know what, looking at you four, so it's the NXT UK crew.
Yeah.
Pete, Tyler, Axiom, and Fraser says, I think it's time to give you a lesson about the Heritage Cup. And then Pete's like, you what, mate? You don't think we know about British wrestling? And Axiom says, yeah, my friend won that cup. You did too, Fraser. Doing a little indication of a kid, haha. And they then leave, and Fraser's like, I missed that cup. Axiom's like, look, we've got to focus. We're tag champs now. We've got to focus on that. He goes, I can defend both at the same time. So. Yeah,
kind of weird. He definitely lost me at that, where he's acting like gazed by like, oh, the cup. It's like you're an actual champion. Yeah, so you don't need to walk around this rusty old piece of junk.
Take that around Vegas.
Yeah, you might get donations in it.
So, but perhaps it's this is how they drop the tag titles, because Fraser's distracted.
But to who? They already beat
Heritage Cup.
They beat the family already. So why is Tony like acting like?
Who are the tag teams in TNA?
Yeah, Rascals,
Eddy
Rhino and
his wife.
Oh fuck, she's coming out later.
Rhino and
challenge.
Are they still there?
Rhino, Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah.
Fuck, who do they got? No, hold on. I know who's
on the other side. I could totally see Tommy Dreamer as Heritage Cup champ.
Yo, that'd be
that
sick.
Would totally happen.
He loved Dusty Rhodes. You know he wants to come into NXT. Come on, I'm kind of for that.
Tony D versus Tommy Dreamer.
Tommy Dreamer joins the No Quarter Catch crew.
Well, him and Dante Chen would get along, wouldn't they?
They like Singapore Canes. Yeah, not bad.
All right.
So yeah, I don't know. Like,
someone Photoshop Tommy Dreamer with the Heritage Cup for us now, please.
I legit don't know who the tag title holders, who the champs are in TNA.
TNA. Oh, actually, no. You've got Chris Bay and Ace Austin.
Oh, they're lit.
That would be great.
That match would be crazy.
Fraser.
Here we are making fun of TNA when they have actual good talent.
I don't know if they're the champs or not, but
they were like a year ago when we went to a show. You're just going off that. I think they are champion.
All right.
Yeah.
You look that up. Look at the list of TNA champs right now, and I will talk about Cody Rhodes, who approaches Shawn Spears. He's like, hello, old friend. Ethan Page then comes in and says, wait, you're not going to say hello to me? And then Lexis King comes in and says, the king will win the battle royal. So a bit of a AEW moment here. The four lads, and Cody says, look at you. Looks like you guys are in a good place.
And then it's just quiet, and that's the segment.
And Ethan Page is like, I've lost all of my matches in this company so far. And Shawn's like, hey, I just won my first.
Okay, so this was weird. This was AEW Dark and Cody Rhodes here on NXT. And then they since have now posted a photo with all four of them doing the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah.
So the joke is here that, yes, they are all AEW people, but they're here in NXT. You know, am I the only one who, when Cody came out and Trick was there and Cody's like, hey, my friend Ricky Starks is fighting you.
Yeah.
I would have just been like, oh shit, really shaking things up here. Instead, he's hanging out with Pillman's kid, who he probably doesn't like that much because no one really probably does. Ethan Page and
the good hand,
the guy who hit him in the head, unprotected chair shot.
Yeah.
So it's just a real ragtag group here of AEW. Like the reason they look at the place you're in now. What did they say? Like, look at you guys now.
Looks like you're in a good place.
Look at you now, boy.
As in, you're happy. Look at you, happy.
Yeah.
You're not with Griff Garrison anymore.
Yeah.
You're not with Dan Lambert anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess.
Did you find the champions?
Okay. If the gun was to our head, we would be dead because Ace Austin and Chris Bay are not the champions. They lost the titles in March.
Oh, is it to the Welsh lads?
Now you're just fuck off. It's Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers.
Oh.
So Eddie Edwards' wife is definitely part of this group. The system.
The Welsh lads are still there, though, aren't they? Mark Andrews and
I like those guys.
Flash Morgan Webster.
Yeah, I always like those guys. They're still there in TNA. I'm not sure, but AJ Francis is the TNA Digital Media Champion.
Okay, all right.
So he could come back.
Moose is the world champ, right?
And Mustafa Ali is the X Division champion,
and the women's champ is
Jordan Grace. We just saw her.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
And then
she was in NXT.
Hey, they have tag titles too. Guess who the current tag women's champions are?
Is it Havoc and Rosemary?
Masha Slamovich and drum roll, please.
Oh, it's Killer Kelly. No,
she's gone.
She's gone.
Alicia Edwards.
Hey,
the second Alicia Edwards shows up on NXT, I'm done.
Okay,
packing it up.
Maybe it's next week. Housekeeping. I'm doing the show with Sino next week. So, Shawn, if you want to book Alicia Edwards next week, it's fine.
Yeah, not the week after.
No,
but next week.
Not ever again. Just next week.
I don't know what it is, but one of my least favorite wrestling characters, personalities, wrestlers. I didn't even know she did wrestle, so let alone be a champion in TNA. But just I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry.
Well, we go to Roxanne Perez and the state of the women's division. Rox comes out and she says, look, I've proved that there are levels to this. No one is on the same level as me. And she calls Ava out to the ring to thank her and for Ava to thank her for being the leader of this division. And Rox says, look, you always find a way to make it all about you. And whoever you put in front of me, I'll always find a way to win. There's not one woman who can take this away from me. And that's when JC Jane walks out with Jasmine Nix. And JC says, is Rox taking credit for the entire women's locker room? And ever since you won that championship, you lost your sweet and innocent personality. You lost your memory. Before you even signed your contract, I was the reason why people were tuning in. Before you signed, no one could talk about NXT Women's Division without talking about JC Jane.
Okay, pause. What?
I mean, to be fair, like Toxic Attraction were running the show, weren't they?
But
there were two other people in that. I mean, it's the same as Jay White saying, I sold out Madison Square Garden. You know,
right.
it's the
heel
same
logic.
kind of thing. It's heel logic.
She was wearing the dashing.
But she was like, Toxic Attraction were the main thing of the women's division. They were the women's tag champs and the women's champion.
Yeah.
But it was just a little.
Yeah, it was weird.
She
is wearing the Cody mask over her mask.
Over the mask.
Yeah, she's got like a black Velcro thing going on, and now she's put the clear dashing mask over it.
That's a choice.
It's a style.
Lash then comes out and screams like she always does. She's with Jakara Jackson. She calls JC and Jasmine Batgirl and Robin.
She calls Jasmine Nix a Kim Kardashian wannabe.
Mm-hmm. And then she says, look, Metaphor were making headlines each and every week. Jakara says, we were going to target Kalani for the North American title, but now we hear you, it's on site. And Lola Vice then comes out and says, we can't talk about the women's division without talking about my NXT Underground match. These fists don't lie.
I love that line because hips don't lie. Fists don't lie.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It's only a matter of time before, and then she starts talking in Spanish and then goes back to English and kind of stumbles over her words a little bit. And then just says, look, you all want what Roxanne has. And Jakara tells her to shake your happy ass to the back of the line. And then gets kicked in the head by Lola Vice. Everyone brawls,
Yeah.
and then Lola and Rox clear the ring out, sending everyone to the outside. And the closing shot is Lola staring at Roxanne's title.
Yeah, not how I thought the show would end. It kind of fell off a cliff a little bit there. I don't want to knock all the people involved, but you had Roxanne teasing all night that she's got some sort of announcement. You got, for some reason, Ava being tipped off that that Roxanne's going to call out Ava. Ava comes out and cuts a pretty abysmal promo that doesn't really make sense. And then JC comes out, which is kind of left field also. Then Lash, who lost on Sunday, and then Lola, who won her match on Sunday. Really, it should have just been Lola coming out instead of all the stuff in the middle. But yeah, again, not knocking all the talent. I'm a fan of pretty much everyone in this segment. I just thought it was a really bad segment.
It felt like an opening segment. This is often how you start the show. You know, champ comes out, runs everyone down, and then you get the parade of potential challengers coming out. I think when you realize, we've got a segment ending the show rather than a match, and it's Roxanne, and they're teasing who the new challenger is,
especially in the climate we are with people popping up and everything.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago it was Jordan Gray showing up, so I think we were expecting another kind of name or something. Instead we got this, like, I thought it was fine. I thought Lola kind of just lost her way a little in this promo here, which was a shame because I normally think she's pretty good, but I thought she kind of like lost herself a bit. And I guess we're teasing Lola Vice versus Roxanne Perez for Heatwave, which is fine,
which is good.
It's kind of Lola, I guess you can push more babyface moving forward. Yeah.
I think that she's been kind of babyface turned, I guess.
I think it kind of did Lola a disservice because you come out going, oh, that's the match? Yeah. Where you kind of built it up. It's like when you build up a mystery partner, you know, they always used to do it, and then it was
Tyler Breezango.
Right? Like, yeah, I thought this should have maybe opened the show, but I didn't think there was anything particularly strong enough to close the show this week either.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, I don't know if there wasn't a big, maybe Cody and Trick, but even still, then they're just like, cool, thanks, you're invited to the cookout. Like, there was no proper way to, I guess, end the show, but I thought that it was a little lackluster. I thought the show itself was a little lackluster, but the ending was just kind of puzzling. So I'm not angry at the segment because, we didn't get, like, you know, someone from TNA coming out or Julia or anything. It's like, no, I would have rather have just Lola come out and been like, yo, bitch, I just won the underground match.
So I imagine we're getting what? Lash, Jakara, Lola, JC to determine, and Lola wins that.
Yeah.
But do we get this defense before Heatwave, or is this the Heatwave?
It kind of sounded like it was Heatwave.
If Julia is wrestling on the 13th, I guess she's
okay to wrestle the week before. I don't know. Yeah, kind of odd. Yeah, again, Lola and Roxanne. Yeah, that's definitely a match we need to go. Is it something that Lola needs to go for right now? I don't think Lola necessarily wins right away, but maybe she could, and then Roxanne like moves up or something. I'm not really quite sure. If this were to just have been separate, I think it would have done a different way. It would have been better. But also, again, because of how, like, hey, you know, next week there's an open portal thing, and this week we had TNA and this and that. It's like, okay, maybe you were kind of setting us up for something, and then, you know, you didn't. JC Jane came out, and I thought, I was like, oh, and Ava's talking, and it's like, oh, I
feel next week feels a bit more promising with this battle royal and stuff. But yeah, I found this show just odd. It didn't have that one clear sort of main event to it. I thought the 6-man tag was good, but just felt a bit flat this week for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, even some of the best wrestling, it may have been that 6-man tag, and even that was, you know, it was all right with some flashy stuff. But I didn't necessarily hate this week's episode. Don't get me wrong. It was definitely felt like a bit of a hangover of Battleground. But next week we have the 25-man battle royal to determine Trick's opponent for Heatwave. Plus, we know so far Kalani putting the title, her recently won North American title against Michin, and I'm sure they'll announce some other things. But you can expect surprises because Cody told us that all these different locker rooms, different people from it. So we will see some surprises next week. Maybe we didn't get any tonight. So I don't know what else they announced for next week, but that's it so far, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's what we thought of NXT. Do you agree, disagree? Let us know at POISONRANA Pod. You should also follow us on Facebook and join the Poison Rana group, because there we post the feedback threads where we read your comments and questions. And I see here one from Megan, and I'll read it right now. A low-key Fallout episode. Cody announcing a number one contender battle royal, including talent from other locker rooms, perked my ears up. The wrestling tonight was decent. The six-man tag was good. Wendy Choo woke up in the wrong side of the bed and chose violence. Javon Evans versus Shawn Spears was solid, and the young OG will get his seasoning by paired with a vet. And Roxanne's hubris grew, and Lola Vice has eyes on her title. That has to be the TV match, right? Question mark, exclamation mark. It's like the men's, women's mid-card is sorted out. The main title looks pretty barren. I think Megan's a little upset. Maybe he didn't get his Julia, as some might be. He continues, that skit with Cody, Lexis, Spears, and Ethan Page, with Cody telling them, I see you're all in a good place, was some shots fired. What's the over-under on Dynamite firing back? Yeah, just wait till it's like 3 a.m. and TK will definitely tweet something. He then ends with, it was twice this week. I've heard some variation of Joe Hendry's lyrics. It'll only continue. Clap, clap. Thank you, Megan. Yes, I think we'll get some Joe Hendry next week. Hopefully we get a song, because that's what he's known for.
I mean, will we get him in Glasgow?
It would be really nice if they did. He's someone who's just like organically gotten himself pretty over online, and he's pretty funny.
Yeah.
There's clips circulating of him with when he sang I'm Drew. Remember the I'm Blue?
Yeah.
I think it was FCW.
Right.
Something a long time ago now. Pretty fun stuff. Drew retweeted it. So yes, TNA wrestlers possibly back next week.
All right. Well, that's it.
That's it.
That's up next.
Yes. Appreciate everyone out there listening to us. Everyone there in the YouTube chat as well. We do this every week. However, next week you're going live. What, the Wednesday?
We're gonna be Wednesday at noon.
Wednesday at noon next week. So next Tuesday night, not happening.
Yes.
But we will still have a show. Davie and Cena will be going live Wednesday at noon. So hear all the chat about TNA. With Cena, he'll it's a bit of a cheat sheet doing a show with John Cena, because he knows everyone. He can tell you, he can fill you in on every little thing going on. So definitely looking forward to that. So check that show out next Wednesday night. Again, search Poison Rana in your podcast app. Hit that subscribe, hit that follow. Check out all the other shows we got going on. And Davie and myself also have the patreon.com/PoisonRana. It's only $5 and you get like hundreds of shows, retro wrestling, movie reviews. We did a review of Backlash 04, King of the Ring 98. We just did Great American Bash 99. We're doing so many other pods. Check us out. And it's only $5. You won't be angry. It's like buying a coffee or something. Yeah, exactly. Appreciate everyone out there. And hopefully we see you on the 6th for the cash in as well. So we'll be back as always, and follow the socials at Poison Rana Pod. And I myself, Braden Herrington. You can find me Twitter, Instagram at the Bray D.
And you can find me at Davie Portman.
That's it. That's all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And I really hope we're invited to the cookout.
Ahoy!
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.